Hi y'all, my name is Dill with HigherThoughtLeadership, and I am one of the Hue partners, and I work with Irina. The last trip that we went on, we were able to teach a transformational leadership retreat together. And in that transformational leadership retreat, we did some activities. This month, Irina and I were able to facilitate a transformational leadership retreat for an amazing team. And in that transformational leadership retreat, we included some activities to help settle the content and make it more meaningful for them. One of those activities was the communication relay, a really fun activity that helps get feedback in a more honest and less guarded way from the participants. And so I look forward to being able to share some with you about the communication relay and how it can help you with your teams and your leadership retreats. So the communication relay is a fast-paced activity that promotes communication, it promotes team building, and most importantly, it promotes laughter and having some fun. We know that when teams are sitting in a typical meeting setting, it can be very serious, which leads to our brain taking a more guarded approach to our responses. By incorporating some fun, including some silly activities, we hope that that encourages participants to be less guarded with their responses and get more appropriate feedback that helps direct the rest of the team retreat. So the way this works is there are a series of 5 or 6 activities that must be completed by the teams, and then in between each activity they have to answer a question about a specific aspect of their team dynamic, whether it's their meetings, team collaboration, maybe it has to do with their team's communication. And since they're in a race with the other teams to complete these challenges, and because they're doing silly stuff along the way, we find that we usually get more honest feedback from them by taking this approach. So some do's and don'ts for this activity. Starting with the do's, we want to make sure that you encourage individuals on the team to participate in at least one of the activities along the way. We want everybody to be included. However, we don't encourage that individuals must participate in every activity. This gives your participants a little bit more freedom and autonomy in deciding what they're comfortable with. Some of the activities can be physically challenging, and so if there are any restrictions there, then they can choose to opt out of that. We also want to encourage from the very beginning that the point here is to have as much fun as possible, that this should be something that encourages team building, that is a part of their retreat setting, and that helps us to get that honest feedback that we want as well. All right, so in this particular communication relay, there are 6 activities that must be completed, followed by 6 different questions about whatever you choose to be gaining that feedback on. So the first activity is called the Move It Challenge, and the point of this is just to start the game with an activity that's fairly easy, but also starts with immediate laughter. We will have 5 options for the participants to choose from. For each team, they'll have their own cup they draw, and their Move It options include different ways to move around the room. Depending on the size of your room, if it's a small room, I would make 2 laps. If it's a large room, I would just make 1 lap. And I would also say that this is one of those activities where you don't have to include every member of the team because it does include movement. So the 5 options are walking a runway walk, use their best supermodel walk. The second option that they may draw out would be the chicken walk. They can also draw a dinosaur walk around the room like a dinosaur. There's an option for them to draw for a break dance walk, to break dance around the room. And then the final option is for them to walk the room like a giraffe. And so the way that this works is they draw 1 or 2 members of the team, make their lap around the room in this silly way. When they get back to their table, they answer the first question as a team and write their answer down. So the second activity is actually the nature selfie, and this is an activity in which I would include every member of the team, and all that they have to do is get all of their teammates together, grab somebody's phone, and get a picture, a selfie of all of them that includes something from nature. And because this is simply a picture, then we encourage them to include everybody on their team. Once again, after they complete this activity, they have their selfie with all team members and something from nature included. They go back to their table and answer the second question, documenting their answer for later review. So the third activity is synchronized swimming. No worries, you don't have to have a pool for this. This is just something that they do as their team in a predetermined space and within a 20-second time period. I would encourage as many of the teammates as possible possible be included in this simply because it's a lot of fun and it encourages, once again, that team atmosphere and the laughter. And they have to perform their synchronized swimming routine for a judge who gets to tell them when they're done. Then they go back to their table and answer that third question about team dynamics, gathering that necessary information to help direct the rest of the team leadership retreat. So the fourth activity is a Disney scene in which all team members must collaborate to perform a scene from a Disney movie. They get to choose. This is one of those things in which they have a lot of autonomy to decide who plays what part. So I would encourage every team member to be a part of this. And it also includes a little bit more of the music and art side that's a little less physically active and engages a different type of your participant. After this, they go back, complete that fourth question about their team dynamics to provide you that necessary feedback that you need in an honest way. The fifth activity is called the caterpillar walk, and the way this works is you have some balloons blown up and ready to go. I would have at least 3 balloons per team, which means you have to have 4 participants per team. They put the balloon between them and the person in front of them, put their hands on their head, and using their bodies to hold the balloon, they must make a lap around the room. This is a really challenging activity now that they're laughing together and enjoying themselves, and something that they're willing to fail at along the way. After completing their lap around the room in the caterpillar walk, they come back to the table and get that 5th question that you need that feedback on. So the final activity is called Fight Song, and it's a great culmination to all of the things that they've already done. They've built some team culture, they've laughed together, they failed together, and with a fight song, they have to come up with a song that represents their team. And it can be any famous song that they know of, but not only do they have to pick a fight song, they have to sing the chorus in order to complete the challenge. Then they can answer that 6th question, helping you gather the necessary data you need to continue the conversation within your leadership retreat. Hopefully this helps you understand a little bit more about how the communication challenge and relay can be included in your facilitation, in your training, in your courses, to gather some of that feedback in a more fun way. The point behind this, once again, is for the teams to do something that distracts them from being so guarded in their responses. By having fun, by making it a part of a race, by doing these silly challenges that are a part of the communication relay, they're much more likely to give you the honest feedback that you need to help them make progress with their challenges. Thank you so much.